I'm going to do an insight video today. Yesterday I was talking about source vibration, source frequency, and this is very much around sort of like consciousness and the awareness and the understanding that you are an energetic being, and through your own energy vibration and your own energy field, you can create and manifest, and you can change and shift reality. And again, this is the universal law of perpetual transmutation, and it connects directly to the Ascended Master Saint Germain, which is very much around sort of alchemy and creation. But it's also about sort of like this violet flame that dissolves and releases. So obviously, when this violet flame is used through Saint Germain, sort of the Ascended Saint Germain sort of wisdom, you start to realise that you can shift and change reality through your own energy, through your own thoughts, through your own intentions. And this is what source living is all about. It's the understanding that you are a vibration and a frequency, and any time through your source energy and your source vibration and frequency, you can align that, or harmonize it to shift and change whatever events, whatever reality is happening to you, and you can shift and change it through your vibration, through your thoughts and your feelings and your intentions, to start to create and manifest a different or a new reality. And this is very much connected to the universal law of correspondence as well, which is very much around this understanding that through your own vibration, through your own energy source energy, that you can create and manifest some from this internal space, and then you work through that internal space that you're creating and manifesting these vibrations and frequencies. Then this goes out to the universe, and this connects to the universal law of attraction, which is attracted to your vibration. So whatever frequency you're creating, so like within your life, creation is just vibrations, it's frequencies, it's energy. And we can either sort of intensify that energy by raising our vibration, raising our frequency. And you do this through sort of like, and there's obviously higher frequencies. When you talk about like the universal law of polarity, you talk about frequencies. You talk about sort of like infinite frequencies and limited frequencies. So infinite frequencies are things like harmony, union, love, joy, happiness, peace. They're very high vibrations, they're very high frequencies. But then you've obviously got limited frequencies like fear, doubt, worry, judgment, envy. All of those, they're lower frequencies, they're limited frequencies. And they're limited because when you're sort of like living in those vibrations, you're affecting your own energy flow, you're affecting your connection to the universe, you're affecting your connection to the source energy, the source vibration. You're also shutting down your own energy because you're living in these limited sort of vibrations and frequencies, because fear is something that's sort of like, or a limited vibration or a limited frequency makes you feel that it can make you feel you're not enough, or it can make you feel like that you don't have the courage, or you don't have the ability to move through something. So you're limiting your vibration. When you live in source energy, you know that the universe and the universal law of one, and the universal law of divine creation is working with you and through you. It's not working against you, because this is like each soul and each being that comes down to this planet. That is what you're born for. Is you're born to ascend and to open and start to live in these high frequencies, these high vibrations. Because this is what happened when you were living within like the other the dimensions of light, vibrations and frequencies, which are within the source energy of source vibrations and frequencies. When you were living as an energetic being, there was no limitation, there was just union with all other dimensions, all other realities, and you would create and manifest at will. And this is what the part of the self-mastery of coming back into this plane of existence is, for us to again to ascend to that kind of level of vibration and frequency, and understand that we once again can create from a place of like light frequencies, from a place of source. And there is no limitation, that we know that we're always connected. And like I said, the universal law of oneness and the source energy and the universal law of divine creation works through you, and that's your each and every being that's come down to this plane of existence. That's your like a divine sort of birthright, that each and every one of us come down here to once again awaken and ascend to those higher vibrations and frequency, and understand that, you know, through our consciousness and through our vibrations and our frequencies and what we manifest and what we can create, and what through our intentions, we can shift and manifest anything, because there's an eternal moment, and and in that infinite moment there's an eternal moment of infinite frequencies, infinite vibrations, infinite choices. And in that it's like there's infinite ways of sort of like creating and manifesting things. Nothing is stuck, and this is what is really important, because nothing is stuck. We may feel like that, but if you're feeling stuck within your life, within your sort of like consciousness, within your reality, it's more to do with that you're not living from your own internal source. You're not living from your own internal creator. That you're not seeing that the external reality, the 3D reality, the physical reality is only a reflection of what you're creating and manifesting through your own consciousness. And this is why it's important to meditate. It's important to use crystals and use visualization and things like that, because what you're doing is you're shifting your energy and you're shifting your consciousness. You're opening up your energy to, once again, to that source vibration, that source frequency in each and every one of us. And when you start to do that, then you unify and you align. You align with that source energy. You realize there are no barriers. There are no sort of barriers. There's no blockages. The only thing that's blocking it is yourself. It's your energy. So what you do is you meditate and you go within yourself and you create that infinite space. And when you do that, you're opening up your energy. You open up your vibration to the universal source, the infinite source of energy. And you also open up to the universal teachers, the guides, the angels, the masters. And you know, and when you start to do that, this is when you start to see the symbolic sort of inspiration, symbolic sort of wisdom that comes, that is always flowing from that source energy of divine creation. And it's coming in all the time, and all we have to do is open up our energy and become aligned with it and become open to it again, because our consciousness is infinite. It's not limited. And our energy is not limited, it's infinite. And all we have to do is try and live within that our own source vibration, our own source frequency. And it's about a sort of, and this is what self-mastery is. I was talking about self-mastery yesterday. I was talking about it in relation to sort of ascended masters. And self-mastery is about that. It's about ascension. It's about knowing that you can transcend limited beliefs and transcend that physical reality, the 3D reality that the external reality outside of us is only a mirror of what we're creating within ourselves. You are the creator. You are the source of your own reality, of your own core consciousness. And this is what they teach within the sort of like the fifth dimensional reality, the energetic reality. And again, it connects to, like I said, the universal law of perpetual transmutation. The universal law of correspondence teaches us. The universal law of oneness teaches us this. The universal law of divine creation teaches us this. And also the universal law of frequency and vibration. Everything is vibration, everything is energy. And when you can start to raise your energy and raise your vibration and raise your consciousness, then you can open up and create any kind of new reality. There is no limitation. The limitation is only in our mind. Because we have this infinite source energy. Each and every one of us have an infinite source energy, and we're all sort of creators within our own reality, within our own sort of using our own energies to create, shift, and dissolve reality, to bring up forth like new realities, new experiences, new consciousness. There is no limitation. It's only limitation what we believe within our own physical mind. But the conscious mind is infinite, as well as our source energy is infinite. There is no limitation. So it's like it's starting to, you know, start to sort of live within that own source energy and realize that, you know, in any moment, I've had many experiences within my own reality where something comes and hits me, maybe a negative impact, like a negative event or a negative sort of experience with a person. But you know, if you breathe and you go within that spaciousness within you, within that source energy, you release it within seconds. You release it within that eternal moment, and you replace it with something, a vision or a vibration that makes you feel more aligned, makes you feel more harmonized, makes you feel more in union. And each and every one of us can do that. And you do that by sitting within your heart center, because the heart center is the gateway, is the doorway into the universal source energy. But it's also the gateway into your sort of like to live like within your own source vibration and frequency, but also like the universal law of correspondence. Obviously we draw down energy through from the universe, and we know that we're connected to it. And when your consciousness is expanded and open to a degree that you understand that you are part of this oneness vibration, the frequency, that there's infinite sort of vibrations and frequencies that are available to you, you can shift and change your reality at will. And you open up like your crown chakra to go in sort of connect to this source energy and know that that is within you. And this is where the universal law of correspondence comes in. And through meditation and through learning to live within your own vibration, you also then attune your vibration to what makes you feel in harmony, makes you feel aligned, but also you attune that vibration to the frequencies that create joy, create happiness, create security, create peace within you, instead of living and accepting vibrations that don't serve you, that don't align with you. So it's about this sort of like self-mastery and the understanding of that. And by raising your consciousness as well, you're connecting to the universal law of inspired action. And the universal law of inspired action, to me, is when you're aligned with the infinite sort of source energy and the infinite wisdom of the universal sort of energy, universal source energy. And it's a sort of inspired action comes in when you open up your energy and you open up your energy field to the infinite vibrations. You also then open yourself up to access your infinite self or your higher self, and you also open yourself up to access the ascended masters, the infinite wisdom they bring, the archangels, the guides, the universal teachers, and each and every one of us has the ability to access that. No one is higher than anybody else. In the universal law of oneness, the universal law of oneness, we're all born perfect. We're all full of infinite energy. We're all our own creators. No one or any being is higher than the other. It's not, they even use the word like higher self. I always like to say infinite self, because infinite self to me is that we're all infinite. We're all part of the infinite. It's not about higher and lower, because when we start getting involved in higher or low, we start to say one's better than the other, and it's not. That we've all got our own intentions. We've all got our own sort of soul intentions and soul purpose, and each and every one of us are moving towards that. Now everybody's purpose is individual, and we all bring like consciousness from the spirit world when we come down here to bring that consciousness to this planet. And we've all made sort of like we all said we'd come back to shift and change for this new age of reality that's happening now, and each and every one of us are here for that reason. So each and every one of us is part of that, and each and every one of us brings a unique vibration for that. We're all part of this whole vibration. No being is greater than the other. And in the infinite sort of source creation and source union, these ascended masters, these universal teachers, these archangels, none of them see themselves greater than the next being. They just see them part of the same whole. And this is how you shift your consciousness, and you start to sort of like realize that we're all part of the same, and we're all interconnected. No being is greater than the next, and when we can start to shift our consciousness and see that, we can start to see, we can harmonize with each other and actually see within each other, each other's qualities, each other's gifts, each other's abilities, and look at each other for that, and sort of like see the beauty of that. Because this is when we start looking at competition, we become separate, and we're not separate. We're part of one vibration, one frequency. We're all part of the same whole, and this is what creation's about. And when you in the realms of light and frequency and source creation and vibration and frequency, everything is part of the same whole. Nothing is separate, and we're all part of one vibration, one frequency. So it's like when we start to realize that, and we can start to align with that within this reality, within this age, we start to realize that each and every one of us are unique, and each and every one of us are part of that same whole. And there's no being greater than the next. We're just all part of the same collective, with the same consciousness, the same vibration, the same frequency, and we're all born of that. So it's about acceptance. It's about knowing that we're all equal. We're all the same. There is no one being greater than the next. And in the spirit world, they know this. They know this is all. Everything is about harmony. Everything is about union. Everything is about sort of being attuned to each other, and each being works with another being for the highest outcome of that being. We don't do it. They don't do it for sort of reward or anything like that. They do it because they all know that we're part of the same whole, and it's about, each being serves each being for the greatest and the highest outcome. And this is how we should be, especially when we're working within like spiritual sort of spirit. When we work spiritually with each other, we should be looking for the highest outcome for that being, because each and every one of us are a teacher, and each and every one of us are a student, and each and every one of us are working together, and each and every one of us holds a key for each other to help each other grow, learn and develop, because we're all part of one universal family. And this is what this time and age is about, and this is what source living is about, is living in source and knowing that we're all connected and we're all aligned and we're all part of the same, like I said, family. We're all unified. And so that's just a bit of like an insight about creation and manifestation, about source, vibration and frequency, because I feel this is the energies are heightening, and the energies are starting to sort of align, and the vibrations are rising for each and every one of us to start to align with this consciousness and our own source creator within each and every one of us. And this is each and every one of our purposes. This is what we've all come down for, and this is why we hold the light and we bring the light onto this reality, into this age. And we do it for each other. We do it as part of a, for the highest outcome of one, the planet, but for each other. Each and every one of us are the keepers of each other, and it's really, really important to remember that, because we're all part of the same energy, the same source. None of us are different. Whatever we look like on the outside, and whatever you see on the outside, that isn't who that being is. That being, it has that source energy in them. And it's the same with all things. All things that are part of creation are all part of source energy and source vibration. Well, that's the insight for today. Please comment, like, subscribe, share. Have a great day.